In recent developments that have gripped the national spotlight, an unprecedented group chat scandal has raised serious concerns about transparency and security within the highest echelons of government. The scandal, which has unfolded over the past 24 hours, centers on a series of exchanges in a group chat that allegedly discussed sensitive military operations. Today, we examine how former President Trump responded when pressed by the media over the issue, a response that has not only raised eyebrows but also underscored deep-seated problems within the administration's communication protocols. During the press conference that has since dominated news cycles, Trump was confronted with a question regarding the classification of information discussed within this controversial group chat. At a point when transparency was expected, the president's outright refusal to clarify whether the information was classified set the stage for a broader investigation. When a reporter asked a pointed question about who had informed him that the information was not classified, the president chose to deflect rather than engage with the substance of the inquiry. This refusal is especially significant considering that such a critical issue directly pertains to national security, a matter that should be beyond political expedience. As the session unfolded, it became increasingly clear that the administration's claims regarding the non-classified nature of the information were fraught with inconsistencies. Trump insisted that no classified information had been discussed, emphasizing that the communication had taken place over a widely used commercial application. Yet, as critics have pointed out, a pre-operation discussion concerning imminent military action should logically be classified to prevent potential exploitation by adversarial forces. The inherent contradiction in asserting that such discussions are unclassified, despite the sensitivity of the content, has sparked a vigorous debate among security experts and political commentators alike. To shed light on this contentious issue, we turn to the insights provided by national security expert Ned Price. According to Price, there are two possibilities regarding the administration's stance. Either the officials involved are deliberately misrepresenting the nature of the information by claiming it was unclassified, or they are relying on a highly technical and questionable interpretation of declassification authority. Price was unequivocal in his assessment, suggesting that if a discussion concerning pending military operations and critical tactical information were truly unclassified, it would imply a significant lapse in judgment or, worse, an intentional cover-up. In his view, the very act of using a non-secure, commercial application for such discussions not only undermines operational security but also places sensitive information at risk of being intercepted by foreign intelligence services. The ramifications of this mismanagement extend well beyond mere bureaucratic oversight. At the heart of the matter lies a grave concern for national security. Unsecured group chats can serve as a veritable gold mine for adversaries such as Russia, China, or North Korea, each of which has demonstrated a keen interest in exploiting vulnerabilities within governmental communication channels. The potential exists for these foreign entities to infiltrate discussions that include not only operational details but also the identities of key personnel involved in national security. In a world where cyber espionage is increasingly sophisticated, the decision to use a non-secure platform for sensitive discussions poses an unacceptable risk to both domestic safety and international stability. Moreover, Trump's handling of the situation has been perceived as a deliberate attempt to deflect accountability. At one point, when pressed about whether any personnel would face consequences for what he described as reckless actions, the president diverted attention by praising the competence of his team. According to his remarks, not only had the operation been successful, but those involved had performed exceptionally well. Such a statement, however, rings hollow when viewed in the context of the evident security lapses. The administration's reluctance to take responsibility and implement stricter controls reflects a broader pattern of prioritizing political expediency over genuine accountability. This pattern of behavior invites comparisons with previous controversies, notably the long-debated issue of Hillary Clinton's email practices. Despite significant public outcry and a rigorous investigation into her handling of classified information, Clinton was never subjected to the same level of accountability that appears to be evaded by current officials. The double standard is stark. While one case prompted widespread condemnation and legal scrutiny, the current scandal is being managed with a series of evasive statements and a reliance on technicalities. Critics argue that such inconsistent application of standards only serves to erode public trust and diminish the credibility of government institutions. Further complicating the narrative is the media's role in shaping public perception of the scandal. As the administration continues to insist that the group chat contained no classified information, opposing voices have emerged from within the media and political spheres. These voices contend that the very nature of the discussion, pre-operational planning on a widely used platform, demonstrates a fundamental disregard for secure communication protocols. The resulting debate has not only intensified political polarization but has also raised serious questions about the overall competence of the team responsible for safeguarding national security. Adding another layer to the unfolding drama is the influence of social media platforms. In today's digital age, these platforms wield enormous power in controlling narratives, and there is growing concern that certain critical perspectives may be suppressed if they run counter to the administration's preferred messaging. This potential for censorship underscores the precarious balance between maintaining national security and ensuring that dissenting opinions are heard. In this instance, the controversy surrounding the group chat scandal is not merely a matter of technical details. It is emblematic of a broader struggle over control of information and public discourse in an era defined by both technological advancement and political polarization. Throughout the investigation, the consistent refrain from the administration has been a steadfast reliance on the competence and invulnerability of its own team. However, this self-assured defense has been met with skepticism by both experts and members of the public. The argument that a successful operation, conducted via a widely available communication app, somehow validates the decision to compromise on security is fundamentally flawed. As Ned Price explained, if the communication had indeed involved classified information, then the very nature of the discussion would mandate a level of security that far exceeds what is offered by a commercial application. The reluctance to acknowledge this discrepancy not only jeopardizes national security but also betrays a broader failure in leadership. In light of these revelations, it is imperative to consider the broader implications of the group chat scandal. The use of an insecure communication channel for discussions that should be held at the highest levels of secrecy is not a trivial oversight. It is a systemic failure that has potentially exposed sensitive operational details to hostile entities. The fact that this issue is being addressed only when it has already become a public scandal raises serious concerns about the administration's commitment to protecting the country's interests. Moreover, the apparent willingness to accept such risks for the sake of political expediency speaks volumes about the priorities of those in power. The investigative findings reveal a disturbing picture of an administration that is more concerned with maintaining a facade of competence than with ensuring the actual security of its operations. Trump's repeated assertions that nothing untoward occurred, coupled with his praise for a team that has demonstrably failed to adhere to secure communication protocols, point to a deliberate effort to downplay a critical security breach. Instead of acknowledging the severity of the lapse and instituting meaningful reforms, the administration has chosen to rely on vague technical justifications and selective declassification. This strategy, while perhaps effective in the short term at staving off public outcry, ultimately undermines the integrity of the nation's security apparatus. As the investigation deepens, the stakes become even clearer. The possibility that sensitive operational details may have been inadvertently exposed through a compromised communication channel is not merely a hypothetical risk, it is a tangible threat that could have far-reaching consequences for national security. With foreign adversaries constantly seeking any advantage, the administration's cavalier approach to security matters must be scrutinized with the utmost rigor. The potential for espionage and other forms of cyber interference cannot be ignored, and the current scandal serves as a stark reminder of the critical importance of safeguarding classified information at all times. In conclusion, the unfolding group chat scandal is emblematic of a broader failure of accountability and leadership within the administration. Despite claims to the contrary, the use of a commercial communication platform for discussions that should have been held under strict classified conditions represents a glaring lapse in judgment. The insistence that no classified information was involved is not only at odds with established security protocols but also reflects a willingness to prioritize political expediency over national safety. As the investigation continues, it is essential that all relevant parties be held accountable and that immediate measures be taken to rectify these security vulnerabilities. The future safety of the nation depends on a commitment to transparency, rigorous standards, and a refusal to allow political considerations to compromise the integrity of government operations. This investigation underscores a critical lesson. When the most sensitive details of national security are at stake, there is no substitute for accountability and uncompromising standards. It is incumbent upon those in positions of power to ensure that the systems and protocols designed to protect the nation are robust, secure, and above reproach. Only through a steadfast commitment to these principles can the trust of the American people be maintained and the integrity of national defense be ensured.